The notorious Charlie Sheen, the man who made 2.5 Men the great show that it was. He made such a massive impact on the show as his character Charlie, that when producers made an attempt to replace the actor with Ashton Kutcher, the show ended up completely tanking, and fans were furious. On the other hand, when it comes to his ex-wife, Denise Richards, she was more than happy to do without him. Charlie seemed to be his own worst enemy, and their marriage resulted in a disastrous custody battle featuring a Twitter war, followed by a shocking confession that made fans drop their jaws. It seems as though the actor's dark secret was the one thing that brought the exes closer together years after the divorce.
I'm not sure how I created such chaos and wound up in that headspace.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we at Rumor Juice always have the juiciest scoops on Hollywood couples. Before we get into what happened between Charlie and Denise, we should probably get into some of the actor's dark history. At the height of his fame, the actor was being paid $1.25 million for every episode of 2.5 Men. Unfortunately, it all came to an end when he was fired from the show after a downward spiral in his personal life that played out in public. However, Sheen was no stranger to making tabloid news for his shocking behavior. During the 1990s, the actor's partying lifestyle and bad boy behavior had led to several stints in rehab. He was also arrested and put in a hospital for cocaine use. The actor later admitted to spending nearly $50,000 at a brothel during one of his binges. By the late 90s, Sheen was faced with misdemeanor battery charges against his former girlfriend, Brittany Ashland. He was given a year's suspended sentence and 2 years probation. Less than a year later, he was taken to hospital again following a near-fatal overdose and was ordered back to rehab. The actor knew that if he continued going down the self-destructive path, that it would probably cost him his life. So, he made a choice to clean up his act and focus on his sobriety.
I just decided that it was time to finally be a different guy than I pretended to be. You know, closer to the real me, but not that far into the real me.
Thankfully, he had mended his ways for long enough to be cast as Michael J. Fox's replacement on the hit sitcom Spin City. If it wasn't for his decision to change his life, the actor would have never fallen in love with Denise Richards. Charlie and Denise met in 2000 while filming Good Advice, but it wasn't one of those love-at-first-sight moments when the actors fall in love on set. It wasn't until Denise guest starred on Spin City a year later that Charlie took notice of her, and sparks began to fly. Soon, the sparks of attraction turned into fireworks, and the couple started dating. Denise was so charmed by the actor that she knew he was the one by their second date. The couple was so smitten with each other that they were engaged before the year came to an end. I fell in love with who he was when I met him. A strong man who could admit his weaknesses and work through them, Denise confessed. The pair said "I do" the following year in 2002. It's safe to say that the world was very surprised to see that Charlie, renowned for his bad boy reputation, seemed to have hung up his womanizing hat for good. Everything seemed perfect. The couple starred alongside one another in Scary Movie 3, and Denise gave birth to their first daughter together, Sam. The actress even appeared on 2.5 Men as Charlie's ex, who comes back into his life in multiple episodes. Sadly, as it seems to go in the world of Hollywood, just as things appear to be going perfectly well, it all comes crashing down. While Denise was 6 months pregnant with their second child in 2005, she filed for divorce. The couple released in a statement, "We are deeply saddened by the recent events, and out of our love and concern for our daughter Sam, our unborn child, and each other, we ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time."
You always maintain your relationship with your exes. Why do you think it's so important to be friendly with them?
The children. The children, yeah, and you can see it immediately just in their happiness when mom and dad are actually getting together, you know.
After Denise gave birth to their second daughter in the middle of the summer, and mid-divorce, for a moment it seemed as though the couple had briefly reconciled. But that didn't last very long. In the court documents, it was alleged that Denise accused Charlie of prescription medication abuse, violent mood swings, compulsive gambling, and the use of pornography. Charlie attempted to brush the claims off as baseless and vile. During a bitter custody dispute later that year, she claimed that he had physically and verbally abused and threatened to kill her. Denise felt like she had no choice but to get a restraining order against him. By 2006, Denise and Charlie continued with divorce proceedings, and the papers were signed. The couple was officially divorced. "We've actually become like brother and sister. We really have. Nothing more than that. We've become very, very good friends," Denise shared in a statement. When asked if there was any possibility for the couple to make amends and get back together, the actress comically replied, "Oh, he likes 20-year-olds. I'm past his age range." By 2008, Sheen moved on to marry the actress Brooke Mueller, and she soon gave birth to twin boys. Unfortunately, it wasn't smooth sailing for Charlie and Brooke either. Just a year into their marriage, the actor was arrested and charged with assaulting and threatening to kill her. They were divorced by 2011.
You know, my husband had me with a knife, and I was scared for my life, and he threatened me.
2 months after the assault charges, he entered rehab again, forcing him to take a 3-month break from 2.5 Men. It wasn't much later that Charlie hinted that he was prepared to leave the show if his request for more money from program makers Warner Brothers was not met. It seemed as though Sheen had gone back to his old ways and his destructive behavior had returned. The actor was hospitalized yet again for medical reasons after security was called to his hotel room, where he was found naked and appeared completely intoxicated. Just a few months later, Charlie was taken out of his Los Angeles home on a stretcher and hospitalized with severe abdominal pains. It was alleged that the pain was a result of a 2-day marathon party. The next day, Warner Bros. Executives ordered Sheen to seek treatment and temporarily shut down production on 2.5 Men so he could enter rehab. However, the actor refused. In an interview, the actor said that he didn't need to go to rehab because the Alcoholics Anonymous manual was, quote, written for normal people, people that aren't special, people that don't have tiger blood, you know, Adonis DNA. Within 2 weeks, the actor said he was ready to begin shooting again after self-healing his addictions. But production was canceled after Sheen phoned into a US radio show to criticize the show's creator, Chuck Lorre. In a rambling rant, he made a series of bizarre statements, including calling himself a high priest and a Vatican assassin warlock. He continued his attack on Lorre in numerous talk show appearances over the space of a week. "I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen," he told ABC's 2020 program. "It's not available because if you try it, you will die. Your face will melt off and your children will weep over your exploded body." For Warner Bros., this was the last straw. The studio's lawyers shared. The totality of Mr. Sheen's condition, statements, and escalating destructive behavior made production untenable. It was clear, they continued, that the actor does not believe he has a problem and that he will continue to conduct himself in a destructive manner. CBS announced later that year that Ashton Kutcher would take over as the star of the show. However, Sheen's future remained uncertain after the actor seemed to be going through a form of breakdown, played out in public on the TV and the internet. He gave interviews and posted videos of himself on YouTube and Twitter, claiming to be a warlock with tiger blood and Adonis DNA. By 2015, Charlie decided to take to Twitter on Father's Day and rant his heart out. Sheen called his ex-wife Richards the worst mom alive and an evil terrorist sack of landfill rash, who couldn't act hot in a fire or wet in a pool. Afterward, the actress retweeted a Lisa Gibbons quote reading, "The less you respond to negative people, the more peaceful your life will become." What the actor had to share next had the rest of the world completely shocked. In an exclusive, live sit-down interview on the Today Show, the actor admitted that he had been living with HIV. "I'm here to admit that I am, in fact, HIV positive. I have to put a stop to this onslaught, this barrage of attacks, of sub-truths,
and very harmful and mercurial stories that are about that threatening the health of so many others, which couldn't be farther from the truth."
Charlie kept his HIV diagnosis private for about 4 years before deciding to share it with the world. "It's a hard 3 letters to absorb. It's a turning point in one's life," the actor confessed. It seemed as though Charlie's confession was a step in the right direction for him. He had cleaned up his act, and his sobriety was back on the right track. After his announcement, Denise made sure she was always nearby to support Charlie. "I moved in the neighborhood where he was living, and being that close to him, it was very hard," she said at the time. "But any time that something would go on at the house or with him, he knew he could call me at 2 in the morning and I would be there, no matter what." She also confessed that she knew that people would judge her for supporting him, but she wanted to make sure that he was taken care of so that he could be a good father for their daughters. By 2018, Denise had moved on and married Aaron Vipers. During an episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she admitted that Charlie had been invited to the wedding but had refused to attend. "Even if he did bring a prostitute as his date, I wouldn't care. It is what it is. No matter what's gone down with Charlie and I invite Charlie to anything having to do with the kids and I. However, Charlie sent her well wishes through one of his reps. He wishes them nothing but happiness. Over the last few years, the two have continued a rocky co-parenting relationship. But things appeared to be all good as of last year when she revealed that communication's great with him. My husband, Aaron, and I actually saw him the other day.